Totown's cross-cultural communication workshops for global business success. The key to effective cross-cultural communication is knowledge. Because most companies employ people from a variety of different cultures, miscommunication and miscues can occur at an alarming rate. These miscues and poor communication negatively impact performance, relationships, and teamwork. Our workshops help you understand the communication styles of co-workers and offer information vital to successful cross-cultural workplace communication. After completing this course, you'll be able to analyze your cultural values and those of co-workers, understand how cultural values influence workplace communication, identify cross-cultural miscommunication on the job, and consider ways to communicate across cultures. Totown's cross-cultural communications workshops. Call for an estimate today. This is how we do it. Check it out.
Yes, there should be handouts. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see so many of you here. Last time we were way shy of our expected numbers. We had 2 students. And last week we actually had to postpone it because of some medical emergencies. So it's good to see all of you back. Some of you have been away and you're back now. So appreciate your attendance. My name is Mal Adams. I'm your chief facilitator today. And this is Yukie Uwabara, and he is my co-facilitator. Mr. Ozawa is on video, so smile at the camera. We use these tapes for reference and also reviews from previous sessions that we have. And Doi-san is going to help us on the slide presentation today. So if you go to the next slide, Doi-san. We'd like to start with a video. While you're eating your lunch, take a look at this. It's a bit of a review from previous sessions. One more time, click please. And it's dealing with why do Japanese apologize so much? But it's so crucial to them. It's so important. An apology, feeling of remorse for something that is done wrong. And in the litigation, in the due process in the Japanese legal system, the confession rate is so high because it's so built into Japanese culture. It's a fall on your knees. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. You get a lighter sentence. But if you play hardball with it, make excuses, deny it, you won't see daylight for a long time. It's that much difference. We're going to deal with the modest but proud Japanese. Why are Japanese so proud? Why do Japanese say that Japan is so safe and clean? You've always heard that, you may think that. But why do Japanese still say that they are unique among nations? We draw our text and some of our resources lately from this book, which I recommend to you if you want to make a note. It's a good resource for you while you're in Japan. It's called With Respect to the Japanese, A Guide for Americans. This is by John Condon. Very good resource. Some of what these essays that we extract are from here. This is another one called The Inscrutable Japanese. It's in English and Japanese, and I recommend this one strongly. It deals with all sorts of nuances about Japanese culture. So today, basically, I'll just share this couple of essays with you regarding this, and please listen along. We'll give you some time for discussion and questions, and if anything that we touch on here is familiar to you, we'd be glad to hear your feedback on your experiences to date in the Japanese workplace. So they have striven to measure up, as I pointed out over the years. And of course, during the bubble economy after World War II, largely due to foreign nation support with security issues, Japan had a free road to economic development. And at the peak of the bubble economy in the late 80s, Japan was considered to be number 1, the number 1 industrialized nation on the planet. Well, that played right into this traditional sense of pride. I mean, as you know, it manifested itself. They were buying sky-rises all over the world. They were buying golf courses in America. It was an inflated economy, a bit of a house of cards. But you could really see that sense of pride that the Japanese had at that time. Another interesting phenomenon that's not often discussed here, but after the loss of the war, World War II, rather than that it was tainted, scarred a little bit. That sense of national pride was a bit set back but it manifests itself in appreciation for what America did when they occupied this nation. Particularly MacArthur now, among the aging Japanese, is someone who is highly respected and revered for what he did to help rebuild this country, and you'll see that. But the extreme also exists. There's a resentment, and that resentment breeds a competitive nature. And Japan wants to be number one in Asia, and so there's a duality here. You have to be aware of it. It'll express itself in both ways. So, and it can affect your communication. Any questions or any comments that any of you have that, in your experiences with Japanese, that this is kind of exposed itself, this sense of pride that they have? While you're thinking about that, let me point out two current event issues. There is the issue of the Yasukuni Shrine visits by the Prime Minister. Yasukuni Shrine is a burial ground in Tokyo that contains the bodies of about 14 war criminals. And for that and that alone has become a political issue in Asia. Prime ministers from the end of the war on have made it a point to visit that, but the surrounding countries, Asian countries, Korea, China, and North Korea, have looked upon that as a little bit of an offense to the surrounding nations that were victimized by the war in Asia. It's going on to this very day. The political problems between China and Japan right now are pretty much paid to that symbolic offense. They want the Japanese Prime Minister to stop going there. But there are a lot of other war dead that are buried there, not only the war criminals. So that thing is a kind of dilemma for Japanese politicians. On the one hand, they do want to show their reverence to the war dead, but those war criminals that are buried there cause some political problems. So the issue just doesn't go away. It's just not dealt with. I mean, but the Chinese, admittedly, are using it as a political poker to advance their own agenda as well. But it's good to be aware of those things. That's one of the things that deals with Japanese modesty but pride that continues, it's ongoing in the news right now. Okay, let me hear from you. Any of you have any conversations that you may have felt a little bit awkward or weird about the way the Japanese have manifested their nationality, their pride, or anything like this in your discussions? Anybody? Okay, well, if you, yes, sir.
On my way out to visit your place when I first arrived.
Yes.
I mentioned to the cab driver, it was right on the eve of the figure skater winning the gold medal. Mm-hmm. So I mentioned her name and got an immediate response, and just from a cab driver, and listened to him talk about it the rest of the way. Of course, I could not really understand too much what he was saying.
Right, right. And I mean, out of all the trophies and gold that were won, that was one you probably didn't pay that much attention to, but to them, it was a source of pride. Thanks for bringing that up, because there are several other current issues that play into this. The Japanese didn't have a real good chance of winning anything other than that. Up to that point, they hadn't won. So the joke around my place was that, hey, we got this one gold, we can come home now, because we don't have a chance of winning anymore. That's sufficient to, reinforce that national pride. We've got our source of pride, we can come home now. So that was a joke.